up, everybody? Crow back again, and I just got back from the Pinball Expo. The Pinball Expo runs from usually Wednesday through Sunday every year. This was the 31st year. It's in Wheeling, Illinois, and I have been going for the past four years. This is actually the fourth year I've gone. I usually only go Thursday night at 6 p.m. I usually come home back around midnight, and then I go out again Friday, again at 6 p.m. That's when the vendor hall and the game hall opens. There are other things there. There's seminars and speeches, whatever. Those kind of things cost extra. I know there's a tour of the Stern Pinball Factory, which is something I'd like to do someday, but I'd have to go Wednesday. I think that's on Wednesday morning, and again, that's another day I'd have to take off of work. Now, usually, I bring my camcorder and I take footage, and then I kind of just, edit it together and post those videos online. This year I've done a little bit something different. I've done the same thing, except I've added a voiceover to that video. And after I show that video, again, this was just Thursday and Friday that I went. After I show that video, I'll come back to me here, and I'll show some of the pickups that I got from there. So, without further ado, here is my walkthrough. Alright, so here's the entrance. The first thing you see is this booth, the big sign, Welcome to Pinball Expo 2015. I'm kind of walking by pretty quick here, but that's where you'd pay for the entry to the seminars. The pinball tournament is what we're looking at now. But also at that booth you could buy t-shirts and sweatshirts. I did buy a t-shirt. My wife got a sweatshirt. But just right now we're kind of walking by, I think this is like the Papa area. You can see all these tables have cameras on them. And they were kind of live streaming the whole thing. I don't know if they were live streaming everything, but I know like on Saturday or maybe even Sunday when the finals, I know they'll definitely be streaming that live. And then what we're looking at here are just a couple extra tables. I don't know the purpose of those there. I never bothered to ask. But actually, on the left side, if you were to go down the hallway from that original booth, you'd see this Hercules machine. And this every year I've gone for the past 4 years, this Hercules machine has always been there. And I always wind up getting footage of it, so I don't have that much footage of it this year. But I do play it. I do play it every year, and I do get better at it every year. On the opposite side of that is this kind of oversized Flintstones pinball machine that never seems to work correctly. And then just a little bit down the hallway from that is the area where you'd walk in, and this is the vendor area. So I do have a walk around of the vendor area coming up in the next scene. I just kind of walked in here with the camera. But yeah, they had a couple arcade machines. I don't know what vendor has those machines. But I will go over each of the vendors one at a time that I actually filmed, because I don't think I filmed all the vendors. There's the Jersey Jack area. I did get a little bit more footage of the Hobbit coming up, but not too much. There's the Wizard of Oz machine right next to them. I think this is Pincade. I don't know if this is all that stuff is Pincade, but I know these pinball machines in that Slugfest is from Pincade. I was actually mentioning in the video that I used to play that Slugfest a lot at Aladdin's Castle when I was in high school. But yeah, there's some artwork. And I don't know, I don't remember what booth this was. If I just panned the camera up, it would say, but I don't remember. But they had very nice pinball machines there, all restored. Over there's the Chicago, Chicago Gaming, with their Medieval Madness redo or reproduction with new electronics. They had some Hot Wheels Star Trek, this other booth that I was talking about. Let's see here. Just some more booths. Vendors were selling, pinballs, just your various odds and ends. This is the Coin Taker booth. This is Outside Edge, and I actually bought some stuff from them, and I know I'll be showing that at the end of this video. This is, again, Coin Taker. I was saying something about how I don't like these custom-made plungers because they don't feel that good to use. They look cool, but they don't feel that great. And, yeah, just more Coin Taker stuff. This is Pinbox 3000. I thought this was a really cool idea. But there's more footage of that coming up. This, again, I have more footage of this stuff coming up, too. This is, I guess, custom-made arcade machines, or pinball machines. I don't know if that's just all from one company one individual, or if there's just a group of them made by different people. There was the Big Lebowski there just a minute ago. And again, there's the Star Trek topper that I kind of wanted to buy. It's $160. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe next year. Because I already spent more money than I wanted to. I didn't want to spend too much money. I just wanted to buy pinballs, and then I wanted to buy some other stuff as well. These are custom pin blades graphics for the inside of the cabinets. Pretty cool idea. I have mirrors in my Star Trek. The only reason I'm showing this off is this guy was setting up a candy booth. And I hadn't been there before, but I wound up spending over $20 on him on chocolate-covered pretzels and stuff. They did have chocolate-covered bacon, which I asked for a sample for. You know what? I didn't like it. It wasn't terrible, but yeah, I didn't like it. We walked by Meslo Mods, where I bought a lot of the mods from the Star Trek. This is the Stern booth with the brand new Game of Thrones. And the Kiss pinball, which is also fairly recent. I think that came out this year as well. On the other side, which I didn't get really quick, was Will Nelly. I do have some footage of that coming up, but I just didn't pan over to the left a little bit more. I could have seen it. We also walked by the virtual pinball cabinets, which I'll get to later. But this is the Kiss pinball, which this is the first time I played it. It's not me playing it, I'm filming it, but I did play it for the first time here, and I thought it was really cool. I really like how the ball shot out of Gene Simmons' mouth. Pretty cool effect there. Yeah, there's some glare on the glass. There was really nothing I could do to film around getting around that. Yeah, we lost our last ball there, and the match screen was pretty interesting, so I had to put that in the video. And then over on the other side was the Game of Thrones machine. I think this was his debut. There's a dragon there, which was I was trying to film. I didn't really get in frame because I really didn't know about it. But there is a throne in the back there with a pinball sitting in it. You can kind of see it there. Thought that was pretty funny. Overall, I played it, and I was kind of underwhelmed by it. There was really nothing in it that it screamed, oh, this is so cool or anything. Again, it's very early code probably, and maybe they'll get better as it goes along. But, you know, I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. I don't really watch it, so I don't really know much about it. And there's the Whoa Nelly. Again, this has shown up a lot, again at Midwest Gaming Classic and at the Pinball Expo, obviously. But now Stern is doing the production run of it. I don't know who was doing it before, but I think Stern is taking it over. They got a pretty cool pinball stand for it. You could also put legs on it, but if you want the crate for it to sit on, I think that costs a little bit more if you want that. But it's pretty cool. And there's the virtual pinball cabs. So what they've basically done is have these pinball cabinets. So they come in different sizes. There's mini ones, there's full-size ones. But basically there's some of them there's 3 TVs and some of them there's 2. There's Pinball FX models, which are cheaper because they don't require as much processing and they don't require 3 monitors, they only require 2. But you can basically play Pinball FX in a pinball cabinet. That's kind of cool. And they do actually have some real pinball machines, kind of like Pinball Arcade, but it's not Pinball Arcade. I don't really know who does it. But again, it was pretty cool. I played it for a little bit. And again, here we are back at the Jersey Jack booth. I did get a little bit footage of The Hobbit. I didn't get the chance to play it because there was always a huge crowd around it. I barely got this footage. But maybe one of these years I will get to play it. Honestly, I just didn't feel like standing around in a huge crowd waiting for my turn to play. I did watch it for a bit, but that's all I really needed for now. On the other side is, you can kind of see it there, is the Wizard of Oz. I didn't really film much of it because I've filmed it in the past. And this is Multimorphic with their P3 platform. I've been seeing this kind of evolve over time, and every time I see it, it gets cooler and cooler. Basically, there's a TV underneath the playfield. It knows where the pinball is at all times, and it's basically kind of interacting the ball with what's going on the screen. And there's also another monitor over there that you can see. pretty interesting what they've done with that. There's those glowing blocks you can see there, and they actually raise up and down depending on the mode. So there's a lot of creativity going on in this cab here. Didn't get a chance to play it. Again, there's always people by there. I'm sure if I would have waited, I would have had a chance. I just didn't feel like waiting, though. It was really cool watching it, though. And here is The Big Lebowski by Dutch Pinball. I know this is still in process, still in beta, but every time I see this, they get a little bit further along. I didn't really get a good shot of the playfield, but there is a bowling alley underneath the playfield in that little hole there. Never really got a good shot of it. But yeah, they keep going on and a little bit. And it's just kind of funny how somebody decided out of nowhere, let's make a pinball machine out of The Big Lebowski. And there is Chicago Gaming Company with the reproduction of Medieval Madness. Medieval Madness being one of the more popular pinball machines in recent history. To get a really good old version, it costs about $10,000, maybe a little bit less. These machines run around, I guess, around $7,000, $8,000, but they have all upgraded electronic equipment. Instead of having the 4 boards in the backboard, there's only one small board now, but it supposedly looks and plays just like the original. They do have an upgraded DMD in there, which is what I was pretty much filming this for, because it looks really good with the way things are. And I'm kind of surprised that Stern doesn't start making new machines with this kind of display in there. It doesn't seem like it's just a color DMD, but more high-res color DMD. And here's another one, this is by Highway Pinball, I believe it is. Full Throttle. Never really saw this machine before. They kind of got like a translite in the side, as for like the side art, which is kind of cool. Now there's a monitor in the machine, in the playfield. It seems to show exactly the same thing as the monitor on the back box, but I guess that's so you don't have to look up at the back box. In which case, I kind of wonder why you even need the back box. I mean, if you could fit the electronic equipment underneath the board, you don't really need a back box. But I guess it does kind of, what's what I'm looking for? Traditional for a pinball machine to have a back box. I didn't get a chance to play this again. This was actually Friday. They didn't have their booth set up on Thursday. But on Friday when I was walking around, just a crowd of people. Always a crowd of people. Again, I didn't feel like waiting around to give it a shot, but I got a pretty good idea, just, getting a good look at it. And there it is, Highway Pinball. This is the Color DMD booth. The reason I'm filming this, they had a couple machines there, but I asked them if they were actually going to make a Color DMD, basically the software for, like, my Stern Star Trek, and they said they were working on it. It was presenting some problems for them, but they would have it probably early next year. So I'll probably have to save up about $400 for a Color DMD. And I already talked about this a little bit before, but these are the custom pinball machines. Again, I don't know if this was one group that did all of these or if these are all individuals that made these. I know the Wrath of Olympus was Riot Pinball. Now, I said, which makes me believe that there were different people having all those, and they were just kind of grouped together. All right, this is Python's Pinball Circus. Now, brief history is this is a pinball machine, kind of a multi-level pinball machine that never went into production. I think there's one that exists or something like that, but it's not really completed. Now, the people actually doing this are trying to put this in production, or at least build at least a dozen or so from what I've read. So this is basically their work in progress so far. It looks pretty cool. Again, this always had a crowd of people around it. Didn't play it, but it looks cool. And every year, I suppose we'll see more and more of it completed. And what this is kind of a display over the this modded Star Trek machine, this old Star Trek, and it's done in the style of the Mirror universe, the episode Mirror Mirror from Star Trek. So basically, the plunger's on the opposite side. I think everything's flipped around. I'm 100% sure of that, but all the graphics are redone to emulate the Mirror Mirror episode of Star Trek. So in the back glass, it's like you see Spock with the beard, the goatee rather, Now this booth is the X-Pin booth. Now X-Pin does replacement displays, upgraded replacement displays for pinball machines. So if you look at the Miss World, the dot matrices, the DMD on the Guns N' Roses has been updated, and then the displays on the Miss World are updated. They had some on the other side, but I didn't film them. What we're looking at here is Cardboard Tech Institute with Pinbox 3000, which I thought was totally an awesome idea. What it is basically a cardboard kit to make your own rudimentary pinball machine. There's a core system for, I guess, 50. They weren't actually selling anything at the booth, but what they were telling me is that you could go to their website, and I'll try to include a link to it in the description below. But for $50, you get the core system, and for, I guess, around $80, you get 2 of them, and you could kind of link them together back to back and play against somebody. Doesn't keep score, doesn't do anything fancy, but the whole point is that you kind of make and create yourself, and basically pinball is just a marble. I'm going to buy at least 2 of these, and you could buy the inserts, the playfields themselves that you make can be taken out and replaced. So you could buy a whole bunch of playfields, make them up however you want to, just like they had on this booth here, a whole bunch of different ways you can design them. I mean, they don't keep score or anything, but honestly, I think it's just an awesome idea. I mean, it's just a way to be a little bit more creative, have yourself a little project to work on, and kind of, I guess, compare with other people what you can come up with. And again, head to head, you could play against somebody, and it'd be a more fun way to I think you'd do it. They also had some other kits over on that side. I didn't film them, but there are some ones that with some little bit of electronics on there where you had to hit a certain thing that would lower a ramp or whatnot. And I think it's just a great idea. I'm definitely going to pick at least 1 or 2 of these up sometime in the future. Now this was a display, I guess, Pinball Perfection Club and Museum, I guess. But it was a really cool display that showed how things worked in a pinball machine. It was interactive. You'd hit the buttons, and it would show you what would happen inside the pinball machine. Now, if you worked on pinball machines yourselves, you would know exactly what this stuff would do. But for those people that don't pull open pinball machines and look at them, it was a pretty cool way to show what actually happens. That's pretty cool. Over here they had a Pac-Man board, basically hitting the buttons made different sound effects play. Oh, and then I turned it off, turned it back on. Pretty cool. And then they had these chimes over here, so you could see in old EM machines, you hit the buttons, and this is where the sound effects would come from. So it was a pretty cool display overall. And now we're in the game hall, and this was just a quick walk around the game hall. They Color DMD had a whole bunch of pinball machines there with the Color DMDs in there, obviously. And again, I'm filming this on Thursday, so even Friday there were more machines in here. It just kept getting more and more populated with machines as the time went on. But again, this is Thursday, so there were more, but it's pretty. There was more last year, I'll say. They had more than one room for the game hall last year, but this year it was back down to one room. And there were a good number of machines here. Like here, there's a whole bunch of machines missing. On Friday night, there were more. There was the head-to-head pinball machine there. So after this section here, I kind of just picked up some, filmed some random machines. I filmed this Popeye with the color D&D because I'd never seen, well, I'd seen the Popeye before, but I'd never played it before. And this is actually a really good look at Popeye. I never had this good of a look at Popeye before. It always was in a way too crowded area. I think I saw it at the Midwest Gaming Classic earlier this year for the first time, but this was the first time it wasn't so crowded and I had a chance to play it. Yeah, my wife beat me on this by 500,000 points. She's always ecstatic when she beats me, and that actually happened more often than you think this year. And here's a Stern Metallica with a color DMD, and I just love the lighting effects on the back box that was done in this. Probably maybe by Cointaker, like my Stern Star Trek. But yeah, this was lit up very nicely, very awesome. Metallica is actually a really good pinball machine. The only complaint I have about this machine is I think the ramps are way too narrow. They're very hard to hit the ramps. But other than that, I did get a chance to play this once or twice. Didn't do so great on it, but yeah. That was actually either the premium or the limited edition version. I don't remember which. And here's the color DMD Attack from Mars. Attack from Mars, they did this one long time ago, I think, maybe many years ago. So I've seen this one more than a few times. I didn't get too much footage of it, but it still looks cool every time I see it. And right next to it is Congo. I don't know if there's actually color DMD software for Congo. They always have a color DMD in there for one color, green, which actually goes really nice with Congo. I have played that in the past. I didn't play it this year. Here's Varcon. This is actually an oddity because it's kind of our pinball machine. It looks like it's an arcade machine. And what they've done is they have the pinball playfield kind of out of view and a mirror that reflects it, making it look like a screen. So it's kind of an oddity to play. Didn't get any, I have footage of it being played in the past, but not this year. Here is one of my favorite pinball machines, Safe Cracker, done in a mini cab. You could basically you're a thief. You're trying to break into a building and break into the vault. And when you break into the vault, you actually get a magic token. But didn't film too much of that. Here's a Doctor Who. Very, very nice Doctor Who. The guy who brought this there was looking for a trade. And actually, when I was playing this, he actually showed up and started talking about it. I said, "Oh, wait a minute, is this your machine?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, I'd love to have this, but I don't think I have anything you'd want for a trade. The only thing I have is a Stern Star Trek, and I'm not willing to give that up." And he's like, "Well, I'm not really looking for anything like that anyway." But what I thought was funny was the volume on this was very loud, and whenever the Daleks would come out shouting "exterminate," you could hear it in the whole hall. I thought it was hilarious. And it's one of the reasons why I love this machine, just the Daleks always screaming on this machine. Pretty much behind that is the Scared Stiff. I didn't film too much footage of this, but I think the Pinball Arcade actually made me a lot better at this game because I almost got Scared Stiff. I played it more than a few times, but one time I did get to level 8 on Scared Stiff. I thought I was going to get it because I was doing so good, and then I just kind of puttered out and failed. Again, here's Addams Family. There was 2 Addams Families in the game hall. One was with the color DMD. This was without the color DMD. Me and my wife played this one. This had a couple extras in there. Usually that chair, the electric chair, is just sitting there, but they have a Fester with a light bulb in his mouth in it. And also the bear kind of going up the stairs. That usually isn't there. I think that's an extra. Here's a Whirlwind. Nothing really too special about this. It's a very nice Whirlwind with LED lights. Kind of just filming this because it has, the real machine has the fan on top, which is very awesome. Kind of effect you don't get in the Pinball Arcade. But yeah, just a little bit of footage there. The guy who was playing this was doing a really good job. And was making it go crazy. Here's Cubert's Quest. Never saw this machine before. Kind of was like I kind of shocked when I saw it because I was like, "Oh, I've never seen this machine before." And I never really heard of it before, but it's kind of got the unusual thing with the flippers. No outlanes, but the only way to really drain is right down the center, or if you miss the bottom set of flippers, if the ball goes around. I didn't really get a good shot of that because I only got footage of my wife playing, and every time she would go right down the middle. So unfortunately, I didn't get a good shot of saving the ball. Here's Going Nuts. They only made about 10 of these. The machine never went in production. If you remember my Pinball Arcade Season 2 ranked, I put Going Nuts at the bottom. So this is my very first opportunity actually getting to play this. And it's actually not too bad. Still, I'd rather play a regular, pinball machine. And the sounds of everything else drowning out the sound effects of this. This is actually much better than playing in a pinball arcade. Obviously, you can say that about anything, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. Orbiter 1 is another oddity, and I've played this one before, but I can't resist getting footage of it just because of how the ball moves. It's not magnets or anything, it's just that the play field is curved around, kind of like it's on the moon, like you're playing in a crate or something like that. And the pop-up burrs are also spinners, which shoot the ball around. So it's kind of an oddity. There's a hole, like you can't see the hole, it's right beneath the flippers. But your ball could go behind the flippers, and then you could save the ball. I'm sure you saw a little bit of that earlier at the beginning here. Catacomb. Don't really know much about this. This is one of the first machines me and my wife played against each other. Just kind of got some footage of it because it's got that weird back box toy with the ping pong ball and the flipper. It seemed like when you lost the ball, you got a chance for some bonus points at the end of your ball. And then two over from that is this Disco Fever. Just got some quick shot of that because of the banana flippers. I think there's more pinball machines with banana flippers, but this is the only one I've seen with them. And here is Solar Fire. This is actually the first machine me and my wife played against each other when we first walked into the game hall. And this is the only footage you're going to see of me playing a pinball, because this is the only footage of gameplay that my wife actually took. She took a little bit of footage earlier with the Pinbox 3000, but she took some footage of me playing this as well. Fun table, nothing too spectacular about it. It does have the upper play field, but I just threw this in here because it is the only footage of me playing pinball at the Pinball Expo. And finally, last, we have this ice cold beer that was thrown in there. Grab some footage of this because this guy playing it was really good at it. As you see, he's up to level 9 already, and he just goes right for it. He doesn't stop. Look at him go. Ice cold beer is a very popular machine. A lot of people want this. Not necessarily a pinball machine, but it does have a pinball on it. But look at that. He's already at level 9. Excellent job right there. All right, pickups from the Pinball Expo. Every year we go, we wind up getting, I wind up getting a t-shirt, and my wife winds up getting a sweatshirt. This was this year's t-shirt. Again, here's the front. It says Pinball Expo 2015, 31 years and still flipping. And on the back is a pretty cool artwork, and it says, I flipped out at Pinball Expo. I like the artwork on there. I don't know what that is from. I think that's from the cover of the Pinball Journal one year. Don't know. I might be mistaken if that's actually from something else. I probably am. I don't know. But that's where I remember seeing it before. And the only other thing I knew that I was going to get when I went there is just a bunch of pinballs. Now, I probably should have bought more, but this Stern Star Trek here, over time the balls get magnetized, and there's really no known way really to demagnetize them. So the only really prudent thing to do is to just replace the balls. I think maybe they'll just get demagnetized over time. I have to set them aside. But as I was playing this, over time the balls are just getting slower and slower, and I couldn't figure out what it was until I realized, they're getting magnetized and they're getting stuck on the rails and stuff. And that's why it seemed like they were moving slower. I thought maybe the playfield was getting dirty, but yeah, that's not it. Now, along with the pinballs, I did buy this. This is something I was gonna buy last year, but they didn't have them in stock. This year's they did, and what these are, they're covers for the flippers, for the Stern Star Trek, to make it look like the Enterprises on the flipper. I kind of cut away to a before and after of that. Alright, I just opened up the Star Trek. I took out the balls. I actually need to put the new ones in still. But this is the flippers before. And they're the flippers after the addition of the decals. They look pretty cool, actually. I got it from an angle here. They look quite a little bit different when you're looking right behind. So yeah, not too bad. And then the last two things I bought were actually from this booth. They're a brand new organization called Outside Edge. They'd never been at the Pinball Expo before, but man, their booth was full of stuff I just wanted to buy. And the first thing was this coaster set. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, this coaster set ran me about $39. But let me cut to a better angle to show this stuff off. All right, I'm filming this down on the old Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man, but this is the box for the coasters, and open it up, and basically I chose what I wanted. They boxed it all up for me very nicely. So what I did was there was 24 of these coasters to choose from, each representing a game. This is pretty much the backboard box. The translate art on the box. I don't know, I can't even speak. But I chose Blackout, and these are very nice ceramic coasters too. They're not like cardboard or anything. This is the real deal stuff here. Then we have Medieval Madness. I wound up getting, and again, there's 24 designs to choose from, and these are the ones I just went with. Machine, Bride of Pinbot. Of course, I had to get this one. And then, of course, Funhouse, one of my wife's favorite games, so I had to get this one. I like it too, so I'm not going to argue. And then here's the stand I wound up getting. There's a whole bunch of different stands you could have chose from, and I like the simplicity of the wood base, and this material here is a little bit flexible. It's very, very much like the plastics you'd find in a pinball machine, but very, very happy with this, and I always have problems putting these back in. And there they are. And this is what it looks like. I'll have to find a place to put this. But yeah, I've never really bought a coaster set before, but this was something I had to get. And then finally, also from Outside Edge, I think this ran me about $89, but it was totally worth it. The most awesome lampshade you'd ever see. And this is it. Basically, this lampshade has a bunch of replica backbox translights in it, and basically you chose the frame, either black or white. I chose black, and then you choose out of 24 what displays you wanted. The same as the coasters, basically the same options, and I wound up getting the same translights as I did with the coasters. But what I'm going to actually do is cut over to the lamp base. I had to buy a lamp base for this. And I'll show you where I'm going to have it, and it looks really cool with the lights on, or with the light on and the other lights off. So I'll just cut to that, and that'll be the last thing that I have here. Alright, I'm standing over in the dark. I've got the camera pointed at the lamp, but I have the lamp off. I have all the other lights off. So let me turn the lamp on. And there we go. I have it sitting by my desk here. Don't really know how well this is going to show up on camera, but I'll kind of just show off what I got here. I mean, I got the same marquees, or the same translights as I did for the coasters. So here we have Funhouse, and I didn't get the screw to put in the top. I actually got the base at Home Depot, but we got Funhouse here. Then I've got the Machine, Bride of Pinbot, one of my favorites. Medieval Madness, and then I got Blackout. And I didn't mention this with the coasters, but I never played Blackout, but I thought the art was just so great that I had to get it. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on that and see if that looks a little bit better. Yeah, it just looks so awesome. I mean, let me back up a little bit. And this is pretty much where this lamp is going to be. I mean, next year, if they have it again, I'll probably get another lamp. But this is just so cool. And Bride of Pinbot, and I almost tempted not to put a screw in here to tighten it down, just so I could rotate it around like this. But yeah, it's so cool. And this is one of my favorite things I ever picked up from the Pinball Expo. And with that, I'm going to call it a video. Thanks everyone for watching. See you all next time. Bye.